Mark is certainly has been a great leader, not only locally, regionally, but certainly nationally. He happens to certainly be the U.S. Small Business Administration Associate Administrator, a son of migrant farm workers and a first-generation high school and college graduate. Mr. Madrid is a product of education and entrepreneurship. Previously, Mr. Madrid served as the CEO of the Latino Business Action Network, a national nonprofit organization which collaborates with Stanford University to champion the Stanford Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative, which is strengthening America through U.S. Latinx entrepreneurial research. Mark served as the CEO of the Greater Austin Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the 2015 United States Hispanic Chamber of the Year. Let me tell you something about Mark that it's not in this bio, and it's probably the most profound piece that I find about him. He's a genuine, authentic, humble leader. And I've had the pleasure to talk to Mark, and he has shared some things about his own personal life that are extremely meaningful. And that's the caliber of Mark, right? Of this human being who we call a leader in the economic space. So please help me welcome Mr. Mark Madrid to the podium. Mark. As always, my brother.
So much.
Absolutely.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenas tardes. Yes, okay. It's the third shift, as I say. I am so excited to be back in Milwaukee. It's a tremendous honor, so thank you. Everybody who's here, Andres for the introduction. Nelson, you are a rock star, so thank you so much. But it's also your team and everybody affiliated with the Latino Chamber of Commerce in Southwest Wisconsin. It seems like yesterday, but not really, since I was here the last time. Can we flash back? It was 2 years ago, right? For the inaugural Unsummit. And although so much stays the same in terms of our grit, resilience, and ganas, and our determination, some things changed massively, massively. So today, I just have some quick remarks. And what I'd like to talk about, as I always do, from the heart, is gratitude first. Then I want to talk to you about what we're doing at the Small Business Administration right now for our U.S. small business owners and for you all in the room. And then I want to close with a juntos statement. But before that, I want to start with gratitude. Y gracias. Can all the small business owners that are in the room please stand? Can all the small business owners in the room please stand to be recognized? And would you do me and the Small Business Administration a favor by joining me right now for a group photo? If you wouldn't mind bringing your mask, we would love to have a group photo with you. That's how I should start these remarks. Come on up, please. I would love to have a photo that we can share nationally with the U.S. Small Business Administration. Please join me for a group photo right up here. I'm the first one. Efrain, come on.
Count me in right away.
That's right.
Let me put my first. There you go. Let me hide
Wow,
my
this
belly.
is great. This is wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for being here. You know? Como familia, ¿verdad? Okay.
Cuidadito ahí.
I have the great levels. Yeah, sorry to do that. Can you get everybody? Juntos? We'll see.
Juntos, pero no
Come on,
revueltos,
Nelson.
dice. Come on, Nelson.
Come on, yeah, everybody. This is great. That means small business owners are in the room, which is wonderful.
Te estoy tapando la panza.
That's right.
That's a good thing.
That's right. Absolutely.
Pablo, cuidado que te caigas, me vas a reír. Hasta ahora no se rompió ninguna.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for staying there for a little bit longer. Thank you. Isn't that something though, when you're amongst Latino and Latina entrepreneurs, and you're at a conference that's supposed to be for Latino and Latina entrepreneurs, that all of you came together? That was quite a moment, wasn't it? And I never forget who I'm serving. And that applies to my boss, the Small Business Administration Administrator, Isabela Casillas Guzman. And so what an honor to be under her leadership, which is bold, action-oriented. And I tell you, it's just an honor for us to understand different communities and what they're going through. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I was here 2 years ago in a different position. I was leading a large nonprofit. And who would have thought that I would come back to serve this country? And I'll tell you a little bit about that journey because it's personal and it helps me drive the passion that we want to give you today. It's porque I'm a product of entrepreneurship, like Andres was mentioning. My dad, he met my mother on the cotton fields, and he said, that's not for me, for my future. I want to open my own business and be my own boss. And my father opened a welding business in the Texas Panhandle. That's where I grew up, in a farming community where there are more cows than people. And so my father, he became the go-to welder in that place. And he built a really successful business. Successful for us, you know what I'm talking about? Because we had a pathway. We never missed a meal. That's what I'm talking about. And we were able to get educated. And I was able to graduate from high school and then from college. And then with my master's degrees in my 40s, by the way. But that was about ganas and determination and resilience and grit. And I'm here because of my father and my mom. But COVID, as you mentioned, COVID-19 has affected us in different ways. Murió mi papá de COVID. My dad died of COVID-19. And my mom, I almost lost my mom as well. I almost lost both of my parents. I was in California, they in Abilene, Texas. And just the thought of losing both of my parents at once was so much to bear. But there was no choice but to drive forward and continue. My mom made it. My dad did not. In fact, the last time my mom saw my dad was on the COVID floor. They wheeled her over to see my father. But I never saw my dad alive again. But I tell you one thing, he was determined to get home. He was determined to get home, and it was a multi-hour process, and I was driving from California as fast as I could. And he made it home for 20 minutes, and then he died. That was his goal, I think, is to get back home, to be with familia. And that's what this community is all about, is familia. We got to stick together, right? And I'm just delighted that I carry my dad's spirit and resilience to serve you all, U.S. small business owners, including this vibrant community of Latino and Latina business owners here. I've learned so much about you 2 years ago, and I learned even more so during the time that I've been here, which is just 24 hours. But I want to assure you, as soon as I got off that plane, it seems like I was racing people to get to baggage claim because I was here to do a job on behalf of the team members at the Small Business Administration and Administrator Guzman. We are here to serve you. We have challenges, but we meet them every single day. You know, I'm going off to the airport right after this. But what a great opportunity to be here with you. And then when I saw all of you hop up here, I'm so excited to bring that back, that spirit, to the Small Business Administration. But I want to talk to you about what we're doing right now, because I think that matters, right? You've all have experienced PPP, which became a word in our vocabulary, the Paycheck Protection Program. And there was a first draw. I should know. I was in a different position, so I was also getting the PPP. the Paycheck Protection Program. The first draw, then thinking about forgiveness, then the second draw in 2021, forgiveness, and even the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. We call that EIDL, which is two prongs of that particular product. There's a grant, it's called an advance, and a loan. And so, how many of you have benefited from the Paycheck Protection Program? All right, so several of you in here. It was our goal under this administration with Administrator Guzman to make that more accessible, and that was accomplished. It was accomplished because more small businesses receive that funding. And on toward the forgiveness portion. In other words, you don't have to pay it back. We made sure that we streamlined the forgiveness portal. And recently, we've made more enhancements to that forgiveness portal. We look forward to working with you, Nelson, and all of you here, because the forgiveness portal is now just taking just a few minutes, especially if you had a PPP funding amount less than or equal to $150,000. And so those things matter to us. And then the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL, right now has improved components to it if you qualify. Under this administration, the cap was raised from $150,000 to $500,000, and now that cap is $2 million. But beyond that, it's a 3.75% loan that can be amortized over 30 years. Think about your 30-year mortgage. You can go that long, no prepayment penalty, deferred first payment for up to 24 months. And so that product is out there, as well as the advance, the supplemental advance, which is more like a grant. That's a lot of information, but I want you to know if you go to sba.gov, you'll see this information there. It's clear, and you'll know exactly what to do if you're interested. And we look forward to working with you again, Nelson, to get this word out. And I'm also excited that under the purview of the office that I manage, the Office of Entrepreneurial Development, that we're launching the Community Navigator Pilot. It's a $100 million granting opportunity. And the whole focus, and what a joy to be in this position on behalf of the SBA to lead a dynamic team. Shout out to the Office of Entrepreneurial Development team. To lead this program to create more access to federal, state, and local resources for small businesses, especially the ones who have been left behind during pandemic resources or historically left behind. Do you follow? We know there's businesses and some in here that have been left behind. And the goal of that program is to make sure that we're doing an effort that can be part of a long-term strategy to reach more businesses and create lifelong customers here at the SBA. So that's what we're doing now. But I want to close because I have a little fireside chat with somebody named Nelson here shortly. But I want to close on perhaps the most important element of these remarks. It's energy and hope, but it's also empathy. Empathy for you all. And so I think about certain people that I've met here, including a place where I had dinner about 2 years ago, and dinner once again, Jalapeno Loco. And y'all know it, right? With Hugo and Janet, I had the opportunity to ask them how they were doing. And they shared with me how critical the PPP program's first and second draw on the forgiveness was for them maintaining their employees. They said that it's been difficult, but they are happy, they are grateful, they are resilient, they have ganas, and that parking lot was full last night. And so that's the spirit of what we were trying to do with PPP and forgiveness. And then I had a most energizing discussion with Virgilio, Angelica, Edgar, Daniel, Simon. Wow, thank you. I committed to you that I would take your voice back to Washington, D.C., and I will do that. There's still challenges ahead. There's still challenges ahead, regardless of status that we need to be aware of. Thank you for your truth and your candor with me, and I appreciate you for those moments that we had together. And then coming here in a rush. The first person that I see as soon as I get off the elevator is Efrain right there. I mean, a ball of energy, right? But let me share something about Efrain. It's because when I came to Milwaukee a couple of years ago, it was important that I got a Latino or a Latina in a particular program that I was running at the time. That was a mission, and it was a mission really accomplished because we got that entrepreneur. And then it was important to make sure that we recruited another one. And that's how this man came in months later. And then now, meeting all of you, there's a responsibility to check in on you the next time, because Milwaukee matters to us. The state of Wisconsin matters to us, obviously, as so does every state of the Union, Puerto Rico, and our U.S. territories. So I close with saying thank you where I started. This is not a journey that is particularly, we don't have all the answers right now as you go forth toward the end of the calendar year. What I've learned being on the terrain, you know what I say, let's fight a ground war. I fight a ground war, meaning I know every inch of the terrain when it comes to small businesses as I try. I may not know everything, but I know why small business owners have caution on their restroom, why one person is doing everything. I understand where they've been in terms of their financial histories and where they're trying to go. Understand the challenges with workforce development and hiring new people during this time, supply chain vulnerability, cybersecurity troubles, going into a digital transformation and accessing capital. That's a lot on your plate. But I'd rather fight a ground war than the air war, which means you're disconnected, disattached, and really don't know what's happening on the ground. So that's the spirit I want to leave you with, is we want to know what's happening on the ground. I also would like to thank our district office that is here, Tammy and Cindy and team, and Eric, I'm giving you a shout out right now. It is wonderful, the job that you've done here on the ground. So thank you for your service, as well as our Small Business Development Center State Director, Vaughn, who I had a chance to meet with today, and our WIBIC, our Women's Business Center, here on the ground in Milwaukee. So we're in this together. Wherever you come from, just think about why you're doing it. We talked last night about having dreams and hopes and taking care of our families, to have the opportunity to get further educated, to think about having a retirement, to think about the growth and scale of our companies. And this Latino community and Latina community is most important to the state of Wisconsin. And it's most important to this country. Did you know that if U.S. Latinos, if they congregated as their own economic engine, it'd be the 8th largest economic force in the entire world and the fastest growing gross domestic product, GDP, in the entire world. So I leave you that not only is that good for the Latino community and the Latina community, but it's good for the American economy. And that's the spirit that we have, that one doesn't go without the other. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again, because there will be a next time. Muchas gracias.